Yeah, loud and clear.
Wonderful, wonderful. So quick introduction. Hi, I'm Shiraley. I work at Attenberg. I lead the content vertical here. So we're doing a bunch of cool things. I will be very, very brief and succinct because we are literally in the middle of a launch right now. But Urmit asked and I had to be here. So what I'm doing is I'm presenting my screen. I hope you guys can see it. On the right side is the presentation, 2 slides, promise. And on the left side is a demo that I've created for you to sort of go through. So it becomes a little bit more self-explanatory in terms of how we did what we did, right? The use case we are discussing today is more to do with how does a custom GPT fit into the work that we do here at Attenberg from a creative standpoint and a creative lens. This is not as technical, so I'm hoping you're going to have fun while we look at this together. That being said, I see a few questions in the chat that were around, how do you set this up? While it's already been answered, I'm just going to discuss this in 10 seconds. Setting up a chat GPT or a custom GPT is very, very simple. Remember your Facebook days when we used to set up Facebook? It's exactly like that. Just go to the back end, fill in your profile, feed the data that you want it to, process and take up information from. Put in pointers ki I'm not interested in XYZ things. Do not hallucinate. Do not draw on to data from the internet. This is your world. This is your universe of information. Refer to this. For us, for instance, what we've managed to do is we've uploaded our brand books. We've uploaded our tone of voice document. We uploaded a couple of other things such as our catalogs and brochures for it to understand the products in depth. Now, because Attenberg is not just fans, we've got our mixer grinders and our cold press juicer and water purifier and a bunch of things. It needs to know what the product is so that when I ask it to come up with things like, okay, come on, tell me what kind of a script should I go for if I'm partnering with creator XYZ and I want to talk about this product, but I want to keep the product integration capped at 15 seconds or 30 seconds. That is when it draws onto the memory that's been fed into it. And that's exactly what setting up a custom GPT looks like. Now coming to what have we done with it and how has it helped us? Refer to the right side of my screen, which is where I am talking about the creative use cases. My team here at Attenberg is divided into two parts. One is the creative design side, which has like my designers and editors, जहाँ पे हम actual creative output निकालते हैं. And the other side is content and campaigns, which is basically the pipeline for all the creative output. That's where we get our production pipeline from. So in creative design, over the past 6 months, I've seen ChatGPT getting so much better and so much more evolved than what it was before. So while we're not entirely able to use ChatGPT or a custom GPT to build ads end to end, what we are now able to do is generate lifestyle images for static ads, create filler footage. All of those things are very, very simple to do and very easy to do. If you are working in FMCG, if you have an FMCG brand, if you have especially anything to do with food or personal care, trust me when I tell you, ChatGPT is your best friend. It is the easiest to use. It will do full justice to your product images, packaging, everything, all of it. Our use case becomes very difficult because it still doesn't have the technical nuances to pull off what a fan actually looks like. 3 blade hai ki 4 blade hai, it still struggles. I'm sure give it a month, it's going to do even better. On the content side of things, how we've been using this is, I already gave you an example in terms of XYZ influencer, how do I go about it? Other use cases for us that have been very, very helpful. And I'm going to explain this to you from a productivity perspective. Initially, when we started this team, it was so lean. We didn't really have too many people, and we had one poor copywriter who was dealing with everything that was thrown at her. Cut to 15 different influencer campaigns across categories are going live together. We have to vet all of the scripts. We have to review this. Now, it's fine as long as it's a language we understand. The minute we go into vernacular language that the copywriter doesn't really understand, the tags become even longer. So our objective was how can we bring the turnaround time down to a certain level कि एक दिन में script आए agencies and we're able to vet it, go through it, give feedback and proceed. The custom GPT now helps us do that by giving us line by line translations and also its suggestions on how can you improve this. It can even pick up scripts that are written in a different language altogether and solve that for us. Today, we are going to go through the creative design side of things. Maybe we'll park another day to go through the content and campaigns part of it. But coming to strategy and briefs and stuff, it can do a fantastic job. Work with a custom GPT, train it well, give it 2 to 3 months of a learning curve. And if you are working on this on a regular basis, trust me, it is going to get trained and act like a mini intern for the rest of your team. Okie dokie. So coming to how we utilize this model particularly for this demo, I wanted some filler images or some lifestyle images, texture shots, food shots for my Attenberg mixer grinder. What matters is how you give it the prompt. So the prompt that we said, we were very clear that cinematography should be a little like this. These are the visuals I'm looking at. Leave some space so that I can add, text wherever I need, etc., etc. Now, bear in mind that this model is also learning as it goes. So a lot of nudges will be required to make sure that the model follows your directives to the T. Otherwise, it will start comprehending things and start forgetting things that you've put in. This is a caveat that we'll have to deal with till the model evolves. And I'm sure in the next month or two, GPT is going to fix that from the back end anyway. These beautiful food visuals are what came up. And gradually through this entire demo, you will see how we've sort of improved on the existing stuff that's been shared. I've had a special focus on wanting hyper realistic, ultra HD, 4K level of clarity on food and output items because texture shots are extremely important. Our USP of the Attenberg mixer grinder is that it gives you coarse mode, which is basically silbatta like coarse textures. You get that graininess that you get in a silbatta or in a mikal. It was very important for us to be able to showcase these things in the visual. Now that you take a look at this, as it improves textures, it will focus on the individual ingredients. It will focus on the gloss and the glisten. I've even told it, I want this output in a brass jar. Next prompt, I'm probably going to tell it, now I want etchings on the brass bowl that you are plating things in. One thing that I want you to note is it is very, very easy for you to be happy with an image and then actually be able to utilize that image by giving it to your design team or anybody else. If you are working in the Indian food industry or anything that's very India specific, you would have realized or asked somebody in your creative team, your creative directors probably, they would have realized that if you go to Adobe or whatever other tool, Shutterstock, jo bhi aap use kar rahe ho, for sourcing images, a lot of them are very global friendly, not very India friendly. Beyond certain types of generic Indian subcontinent images, it is very hard to specialize. It is very hard to add nuances to those images. That's where GPT comes in and helps me quite a bit in ensuring that we're able to get things like that out of the door. You can then take this image and ask it कि भाई मेरे को PNG में convert करके दो, convert this into PNG files and give it to me so that I am then able to put everything together. Now, whether I put everything together, utilizing and leveraging my team, which is my designers, if they have the bandwidth, most times they don't. They're caught up in like 50,000 other things. In that case, we've even managed to upskill ourselves in any kind of, basic editing, putting things together, salad bowl tool, such as a Canva, which is vertical, AI, where we just take this, put it together, slap on some fun copy on it, ready. Social media creative, ready. You do not use too much of your brain. You do not use too much of your time. These are low-hanging fruits, and that's where we've been using our content model quite a bit. Now, taking you through this, I told it I don't want just one element as PNG. I want all elements as PNG. It managed to create literally every element, put everything together into a PNG single frame file and give it to me. All I have to do is take this image, put it onto Canva or put it onto Photoshop, grab and go. Every element is good to go. Now, as we proceed, I wanted it to focus on the coconut chutney and its texture because I'm not happy with this. Realistic nahi lag raha hai. Gradually, I said fewer mustard seeds, add some curry leaves, more glisten, add tempered ghee on it, thoda red chili hona chahiye. It should look realistic, right? We kept improving and ended up with something like this. Love it. Works for me, works for the creative that we were working on. Some other angles of this. And then it gave me the PNG file, which I was very happy with. Now, instead of taking you through the entire thing on demo, let me just show you some of the stuff that we've been able to pull off, which is this. Okay. Same prompt mein, same chat mein, we've been able to pull off a lot of different things. For instance, at one point of time, I said, you know what? I want to do a comparison between a dadima creating chutney on silbatta versus a young 30 something urban woman who's using the Attenborough mixer grinder in her home. Bear in mind that up until this point of time, I have not uploaded any kind of images of my mixer grinder, not in the back end, not in this chat, nowhere. So this image on the top right is the first image that it came up with in my presentation. If you see the top right, I'll scroll here also and show it to you. Yeah. So that's the first image that it was able to come up with. We kept improving because हमने कहा भाई सिलवट्टा कोई ऐसे नहीं use करता है. It's a rolling pin sort of a situation. Do it better. It did. The thing you need to remember about custom GPT or any kind of generative AI is it is too perfect. It will not make things look human. You have to add the flaws back into the mix. The skin tone can't be clear. There have to be wrinkles. There has to be some touch of things being imperfect. Humans are imperfect. We need to bring that back into the Gen AI side of things, right? Now we said, why don't you compare a Dadi to Dadi? I want a Dadi who's working on a silbatta and I want one who's working on the Attenborough mixer grinder. Gradually, it kept improving. We had to obviously keep giving it nudges so that it is able to remember usko kya bola hai, kya nahi bola hai. And we finally ended up with something like this. Doable, works for us. Then we said, yaar, Dadi ko hum jewelry pehnana bhul gaye. Like the Dadi looks like a widow, sorry, but she needs some jewelry, etc. We included that in our prompts and it was able to completely figure it out, add some minor jewelry here, all of that has been done. Then I said, you know what? Same Dadi, this time I don't want to do a coconut chutney, I want to do a thecha. अब मैं महाराष्ट्र के ऑडियंस से बात करना चाहती हूँ. Get me a Dadi that's doing that. Same chat, same everything. It's taken me, I think, 30 minutes to pull this off. And gradually it keeps improving. As I know, I want her in a certain kind of outfit. I want her to look traditionally Maharashtrian, all of those things. Now, here is where I upload my image of what my mixer grinder looks like for the first time ever. This is brand new information. And it tries its best. Is it perfect? No. Can I make it work? 100%. Now, I have an Ajji who's utilizing a mixer grinder and same Ajji who is working on the silbatta. Cut to what I did next. Created another picture with a Dadi, took that image onto Kling AI, any kind of vertical AI. Take your pick. Dunya mein bahut AI hai, whatever you like best, please feel free to go with that. And convert it into a video. This entire 4-5 second video cannot be my ad. But this entire 4-5 second video can definitely act as filler footage when I'm doing performance marketing reels. When I'm creating those 30-45 second ads and I need filler footage of a Dadi's training and struggling, this video can very well come in handy. It's still not perfect, but I'm going to show it to you nonetheless. The prompt was the Dadi should be visually straining and struggling while trying to do this. She should be in a traditional Indian, South Indian kitchen. And it was able to generate this. So all in all, I am a very happy person because my custom GPT is not only able to figure this out, it is also able to generate prompts for me because prompt engineering is a real thing. No matter how good we are with our work, we cannot expect ourselves to be as good as the AI that knows what it's doing in the backend. So our job is to ask for help and ask for support wherever we need it. For instance, I'm just going to scroll through this very quickly. Yeah. For instance, I said, create a prompt which I can use for Kling AI. You create it. और मुझे ये सारे details इसमें include करने हैं. Please tell me what that prompt should be. I literally copy pasted this prompt onto Kling AI, got myself a video. And that's on custom GPT and how we use it at Atomberg on the creative side of things. Open to questions, Unmit. That's it from my end. Any questions?
I
Happy.
have first question. So for folks to understand, right? See, there is custom GPT and then there is regular GPT.
Yeah.
So how do so the question is, what is the improvement in efficiency or effectiveness, whatever you would want to call it, right? Or even the creative quotient
Yeah.
between two of them? Because at
Yeah.
the second you have provided some sort of uh, brand tonality or the brand documents per se. So if
Yeah.
you can just help to understand, and that
I'll
would set the tone.
Sure. I'll give you a use case of how it's made a world of a difference for us. My copywriter is the harshest critic for all things custom GPT, chat GPT, anything. Copywriters, you guys would know, are not very, very fond of GPT taking their jobs. Not gonna lie. But they are the ones who will be able to assess key what is the difference between a custom one versus a normal. So if you're using GPT-4, you will realize that you have to train it multiple times. So memory retain karega, but it's never going to give you the crispest output that you need. Whereas a custom GPT, when we've put in the backend data, the tone of voice document, we've given it samples of what our ad copies look like, search ad copies kaise lagne chahiye, within the guardrails and parameters that we've set. Now, if I tell it, मुझे search ad copy का repository चाहिए, please provide that to me. It knows what guardrails it needs to follow. I don't need to teach it again. It's already fed in the memory. It's already fed in the backend. I don't have to teach it the rules of the game again. And that right there saves me so much time. Instead of fighting, okay, I need 30 characters, I need 90 characters, I need this. No, this doesn't work. I need it to be witty. I need it to be like Rancho from Three Idiots. No, it knows what it needs to do. My tats have gone down by 20% on just tactical copy so that we are able to focus more on creative copy. And even then, the kind of hook banks that we've managed to create, the kind of stuff that we've managed to work through in such reduced timelines and tats is phenomenal. I would have never been able to do that with a regular GPT. मुझे बहुत time लगता.
Perfect. So if I have to ask you, what are some of the essential custom GPTs for marketing and creative? For कौन से होंगे? So one is for the perf marketing, other would be for
For
social, right?
sure.
So if
For
you can
sure.
just put out some of the custom GPTs for us.
See, I think I am just going to talk about the domains that can use different kinds of custom GPTs and people who should definitely build it out. In Atomberg ourselves, I think right after your session on Myth, we had our own massive AI workshop here, and every team presented how they are working on building their own custom GPT. I know for a fact that the Amazon teams and the Flipkart teams and the growth teams in general, they've all built their own versions of it. And while it's taken man hours for them to train it, the data crunching, the MIS, all of it has been automated to a point कि हफ्ते में उनको हर दिन 2-2 घंटा लगता था to be able to finish that off. Instead of 2 hours per day, they take 30 minutes per week to now work through it.
Wow.
That
Okay.
is a phenomenal improvement in productivity. So honestly, it's not about who should be using and how they should be using. Everybody should be using. Find your own use cases. Look at custom GPT as an army of interns, basically. The better you are able to train it, the better your output will be. For us personally, the e-commerce team is having a blast using theirs. The growth team is able to preempt what trends are going to look like. They're able to preempt what kind of content pipeline we really, really need when it comes to driving growth data. We are able to very quickly sort through a lot of huge amounts of data in negligible amounts of time. We get agency reports and we are able to sift through those in like 30 minutes. We do not need any kind of reviews where the agencies are coming in and we're spending a day with them. Ki, Acha, ye data to aapko missing hai, get it again. None of that business. Everything is automated to a point that our tats are phenomenal. Our productivity has gone up and we're actually able to focus on the things that matter.
And one last question from my side, and this has been phenomenally helpful. What are the shortcomings where you still think that custom GPT is not able to fulfill certain requirements?
Sure. Sure. So I don't know if it's a problem with how I've trained the backend or it's a problem of GPD just glitching, which it does from time to time. I faced two problems. One, it draws upon memory which it should not be doing in custom GPT, even when asked not to. So it blatantly disregards instructions sometimes. And that's happened to me once or twice, not more, in the entirety of the time that I've built this and I've used this and I've trained my team on how to use this. The second is the point that everybody's mentioned about data. Like, we are not confident about the data. Kya hai, kitna bahar jayega, what the leakage is going to be like. So it's about taking a gamble on how much of your information you can upload to it. Obviously, you can go to the data settings and stop data sharing for, correction and for GPT to learn. Great. But you have to have your own checks and balances in place, which is what we are doing. We're not sharing this externally with anybody. We are not, sharing this with people on personal email IDs. Eventually, what we will do is we will build and train another GPT in parallel through a common shared ID. उस ID का login credentials is what we're going to give to other people so that they log into the same GPT and it's not shared anywhere. So we're just trying to air gap it as much as possible.
No, perfect. Very, very
One
critical,
second, I had to add one question. Like, in fact, it was an observation, Shirali, from what you were, sharing. I observed you were, whenever you liked something, your prompt would always begin with, I like this.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good, but can you? Has that got something to do with the kind of that memory you are referring to? Like the way you kind of go about training it. The moment you do some positive reinforcement on what
Yes.
output you prefer, maybe it's kind of then drawing back upon and kind of
Yes.
giving.
Yes, 100%. Quite possible. At least for non-custom GPT, that 100% happens to the point where I've actually had to put in an instruction saying, please don't faff, just give me information the way I need it. I don't need your encouragement. Please stop. But that being said, on custom GPT in the backend, we have, however, put an instruction saying, if any user says, gives you any kind of positive reinforcement, please move in the same direction moving forward. So that could very much be the case. We'll have to go to the backend and double check that.
So I'll open up the questions for Shirali. If anyone has question, please either put it in the chat or raise hands. We'll move on to that.
Hi,
Yeah,
Shirali, Jenny, Leah. First of all, thanks a lot. That was really excellent because honestly, we've been struggling to get integrations with creatives, especially, not that much with data, but this was really good. Well, my question was, what is the best practice for being able to integrate an existing product into sort of a backdrop, that you have conceptualized even with ChatGPT and I mean, or with any AI tool? And was there, again, coming to Urpit's question, did you see a significant difference between the custom GPT part or maybe when you tried it in the, generic version, given with the brand guidelines, etc., given was there a, sizable output? Because this is the one place where we struggle. And the part B is there any best practice in terms of what kind of initial original image of the product that needs to go in that kind of marries best with integrating with the background? That's yeah.
So thanks so much for your question. I'll just take it bit by bit. I think for us, what we've realized is most of my designers were initially not very comfortable using custom GPT or chat GPT in general. They were all like, Shutterstock se nikal lenge. Great. Only when they hit a snag, when we had to do specific bathroom lifestyle images and interiors for our exhaust fan creatives, is when they came to me saying, Shirali, we don't have any Indian looking baths. We have those Scandinavian-esque bathrooms, which people will not relate to. What do we do? So I said, why don't you take it out from GPT and see? Now, to answer your question in a shorter manner, when they tried using generic GPT, they realized that they were in queue forever because they did not have a premium subscription. Now I don't know if that had anything to do with it. I'm guessing it did. So they were in queue forever, generating image, you are in queue, and it took them a long time. Cut to when we started using my custom GPT on my system, because it had so much background information. It like my designer put it very nicely, it feels like going to therapy. I don't have to start from scratch. They already know me. And that's exactly what it felt like using the custom GPT, because we've trained it to a point where it anticipates your needs. Agar hum mixer grinder and coconut chutney bol rahe hain, it is going to give me a South Indian lifestyle image. But the minute I say thecha, it has been trained to give me a Maharashtrian image. So that is the kind of difference that we've seen. Coming to how to integrate your product, like I said, if you're in food, if you're in personal care, your life is sorted. It is beautiful. You don't have to worry about it. It will be able to integrate things very seamlessly. Grab a lifestyle image, create a whole bank of it, create a repository of lifestyle images. I'm telling you, get an intern for 3 months, have the person sit and create an entire repository of lifestyle images for you, create hook banks for you that will, be part of your reels and whatever. Have your intern come up with what creative copy needs to go, create a repository of that through your GPT. At the same time, upload your product shots in as many different styles, variations, and I, I think resolutions as you can, so that it understands what your product will look like in super high res 4K Ultra HD, and also understand what your product will look like if you want to say, hard flash photography. May I want to show like it's a part of a night out with a group of girls in a club. It will know what to show your product like in that light. So upload as many versions, angles, lightings, resolutions of your product as possible. But most importantly, please upload your brand guidelines, and please upload some sort of sample creative so that it gets a flavor of what you are looking for. Otherwise, that learning curve is very steep. Any custom GPT will be ready to plug and play if you spend 3 months training it. 3 months is more than enough for it to literally work like magic. At least that's what I've experienced. I hope that answered some of your questions.
Super. Any other questions? And Shirley, if I could pin, and if this was WhatsApp, I would have pinned the intern command saying that create a whole bank of the lifestyle images.
Yeah. I think it's a one-time effort.
Yeah.
If you are setting it up for the first time, just one thing, get an intern to do it. वो 3 महीना जो आपका internship करेगा वो बच्चा, उतने में आपका custom GPT train हो जाएगा. You don't have to worry about anything else.
Perfect. Any other questions for Shiraley before I move on to Kiran? Perfect. Shiraley, I think thank you so much for taking out time. All the best for the launch.
Thanks so much,
Look forward to
Urmit.
the product.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.